Hello again, you sexy animals. It's Truth Seeking Hour. Now, we've come a long way in learning about the human body, but only a fool would think that we're even close to understanding all its mysteries. Some things don't seem to make any sense at all, almost complete paradoxes to our nature, like near-death experiences. Why are we designed to see God when we die? What benefit does this have? Or take this, after times of war, there are more men born than women, even though the birth rate is supposed to be 50-50. It's almost as if the universe knows that all the men died and they need to be repopulated. But how? And then there are some people who are blind but are still able to subconsciously see things without even realizing. They are very much blind, and yet they react to things around their visual fields. Yeah, the human species really is the greatest mystery this universe knows, that we know of at least. So let's delve into these questions and see exactly what's going on. Near-death experiences, or NDEs for short, are relatively common, experienced by about 17% of people who come very close to dying, with common themes such as feelings of complete bliss and spiritual enlightenment. And it happens to all sorts of people, including children, atheists, priests, scientists, and even black people. NDEs are usually triggered through traumatic experiences, such as soldiers who've experienced severe injuries, or rock climbers who've fallen from extreme heights, or your mother who may or may not have suffered a cardiac arrest. Ultimately, it occurs when someone's about to die, but it's brought back through intensive medical care. Now, every near-death experience is different, but eerily enough, there are similarities between people all around the world. Some similarities include seeing loved ones who've passed away, telling them that it's not their time yet, seeing a bright light at the end of the tunnel, a sense of overwhelming peace, a feeling of leaving the body while floating around in the room, and seeing religious figures. Now, those who see a god always see a god in the religion they believe in. So a Jew would see Yahweh, a Christian would see a Jew, and a Muslim would see 72 virgins. Personally, I think I'd see Dua Lipa. Most people have a sense of going to heaven, but in rare cases, people will see demonic figures and have overwhelming feelings of dread and emptiness, some even seeing hellish fires around them. So what's really going on here? Are people really transcending into heaven or hell before being pulled back into earth? Well, when someone experiences a near-death experience, their heart may stop for up to 90 minutes, but their brain never does. So while they're clinically dead, they're not really dead, as their cells are still alive. There's yet to be a case of someone coming back once their brain stopped working. Also, there's a part of the brain called the insula that may be responsible. When subjects have this area of the brain artificially stimulated, they'll experience similar feelings of bliss and increased awareness. In fact, stimulating the surrounding gray matter can trigger out-of-body experiences and even hallucinations. On top of that, actually being in a dying state can cause the brain a lot of stress and receive less oxygen, which in turn can result in abnormal brain activity. Now, we still know little about near-death experiences, but even if we may have an idea on how they occur, it's a much more daunting question as to why they occur. It really makes me wonder why these experiences are so consistent among people all over the globe whose cultures are completely different, and why something like this would even evolve in the first place. Like, if you're supposed to die, what evolutionary benefit would there be in experiencing transcendence if you can't even pass it on to your offspring? Weird stuff, for real. This graph highlights the number of boys born to every 100 girls. These spikes occur during or right after times of war, and this is seen across all countries, so the evidence is pretty clear. More boys are born during times of war. And this makes sense in a way, because nature is replacing the fallen men, basically just respawning, but how does this even happen? Well, we're not exactly sure, but we do have a few theories. There seems to be a correlation between the height of a father and the likelihood of his child being a boy. The taller he is, the more likely it is that he bears a son. Now, like everything else in this video, we aren't sure why, but this has been seen across a wide variety of people. And taller people tend to survive wars more than shorter people, so this would lead to the male birth rate increasing when taller soldiers return. Also, high stress in people seems to lead to a greater number of girls being born. So when a soldier comes home and stresses are relieved and feelings are high, well, that could just lead to more boys being born. So guys, if you're trying to conceive a son, quick life hack, just start a war. Blindsight is a fascinating phenomenon where in very rare cases, blind people can still respond to visual stimuli and not even realize that they're doing so. There's a case of a man who was blind in his left eye but showed signs of having blindsight. When scientists tested this, they placed a light outside of his field of vision and told him to guess where the light was, and he guessed correctly. 80% of the time, way more than sheer chance would allow. In a similar case, scientists told a blind subject to walk down an empty hallway, but they actually placed random items in the way. The blind subject walked down the hallway and avoided all objects, but still thought the hallway was empty despite going out of their way to avoid the objects. So what's going on? In people with blindsight, their blindness is caused by damage in the visual cortex, the part of the brain that processes the signals from your eyes. However, the optic nerve connects to other parts of the brain, including the amygdala, which is responsible for subconscious functions, such as emotions or your fight or flight response. This is why you might jump when you see a wire before realizing that it's not actually a snake. So people who have damaged visual cortexes will still have these signals go to the amygdala, which still functions properly, so they'll subconsciously react to these visual signals, despite being unable to consciously react to them. Well, that's it for today, folks. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!